AITA for not watching my brother after warning my parents that I wouldn't do that because babysitting isn't my job? Apologies if I get anything wrong or this sounds confusing. I'm recovering from a bad hangover as I write this. I 19F have a little brother 10M with mild autism. He's old enough to be able to take some responsibility for himself and not have to be constantly hovered over. I have made it clear to my parents that I am not interested in constantly watching him and have asked them to find a friend or someone to help out every so often so I can live my own life. They brushed me off, unfortunately. Something I should also mention is that I smoke pot. It's legal in my state and my parents don't seem to be too against it. I am an adult after all. I keep some hidden in my nightstand and some hidden in my purse. My brother doesn't usually snoop around my room, so I'm not that inclined to go to ridiculous lengths to keep it hidden. I don't want to go to insane lengths looking for it when I want to get high. Well, unfortunately, my brother decided to go snooping through my purse while I was in the shower and found one of my edibles. I was still in the shower by the time my parents got home and saw that he was obviously high and crying. My dad went into my bathroom, practically ripped off the shower curtain, and demanded an explanation as to why my brother was obviously baked. I told him that I was in the shower and unaware of how he even got into my stash. He started crying, saying he just went into my purse to get my phone because he wanted to say hi to our mom he's not allowed to have a phone or tablet, and that he saw chocolates and couldn't help himself. These chocolates were kept in a bag saying do not eat. By the way, but the wrappers did kind of look like candy. Thankfully, my brother was rightfully punished for snooping through my shit. However, this did not stop my parents from being angry at me too. They were livid that I had edibles in my purse and that I wasn't watching him well enough. He's 10, almost 11, and does not need to be hovered over. He understands do not touch means don't touch my shit. He should not have to be told to not eat chocolates he finds in someone else's purse. This didn't satisfy my parents enough, unfortunately, and I was told to leave. I am currently staying at my dealer's house, where I usually get some other shit that I take outside of my parents' house. I'm not St. Pitt enough to carry non-legal drugs on me or keep them in my house. I'm hoping my parents will let me come back soon, either to stay or so I can get my things and move out. AITA? Second comment, she does a part-time job in low-end retail. I'm going to guess the rent is pretty minimal. I don't agree with parentification, but if she's not pulling her way, then it's not unreasonable for them to ask for a small amount of babysitting now and again. And even if she was paying the rent in it, is completely unreasonable to keep drugs around a child where they could reach them. The parents should not be letting a 19-year-old do drugs in a house with a 10-year-old. This situation was entirely predictable. Should not be marking bags do not eat. Which makes it clear she thought her brother might go through her stuff. She should be keeping them away from her little brother because children make mistakes. And you could be doing something better with your life than getting high on various drugs and doing the bare minimum at a part-time retail job. If you're not very careful, your dealer is going to find you a new career, and I don't think you're going to like it. Third comment, a lot of people in the comments are quick to assume you don't pay rent and don't have a job, but like, how are you paying for pot without money? LOL. You even mention at the end of your post you want to collect your things to move out, implying you'll be okay with that option. Pretty Reddit-brained assumptions, TBH. And yes, confirms they do have a job and do pay rent. 19 is incredibly young to be moving out anyway, especially in this economy and job market. It's terrible across the world. There are even 20-year-olds with jobs who can't afford it. Seeing as you pay rent, even despite all that your parents are as for giving you basically no notice. It can also be illegal too, as you may need to be given an eviction notice. Kicking you out like that over a pretty innocent mistake because, as you said, you have had no reason to worry he'd snoop, and making it so you have to crash at a dealer's place is just putting their other kid in more serious danger. And as an autistic person, it's kind of weird that would be used as an excuse for his behavior. You mention he's high functioning, and though that's a slightly outdated term, it would not affect your ability to read a do not eat label whilst digging through your purse. If your parents are thinking like that, then they're coddling him. Though I think if it's so prominent in your household, you and your parents should have had a chat with him about the seriousness of him not touching it, cause 10-year-olds are 10-year-olds. Fourth comment, NTA, but learn from this. As a formerly religious person, I am still figuring things out on the scale of what young people so normatively and what is red flag behavior. Doing pot may or may not be legal based on your age, i.e. med card. As a parent, I always keep my goods up high and talk to my little one about how my alcohol and weed are for grown-ups and that it can make him sick if he gets into any of it. He has always been really good about it because he has his own special drinks things. As a sibling not interested in childcare, I'm not surprised that you did not think to do this, especially because your boundaries have been respected pretty consistently in the past. Shower time or not, your brother broke a consistent pattern of behavior that you did not expect. Not the safest for your part, but if you Google stories of kids accidentally getting into alcohol and beer, it is not an impossible or condemning mistake. Don't make the mistake again, but this was not comparable to a loaded weapon. Secondly, I feel deeply upset that everyone is overlooking the shower curtain event. I don't care how angry you are as a parent. Intentionally going into a space where you know someone is that vulnerable is violating. Sexual assault does not have to be the determinant of morality. Your dad violated you because of something a child did, one for whom you are not responsible. The kid should not have been left at home alone with you because you were not acting as his legal guardian. Your dad violated you. Please let that sink in before you go back. Next, getting kicked out. People are making a lot of comments on how you should be contributing or AITA because you are living at home as a legal adult. You did not reveal the conditions of you staying there. What it does sound like is your parents were somewhat aware of you doing the weed, did not talk about it with you, i.e., taking responsibility for teaching you how to be safe, and did not talk about it with their child. ASD does not and should not equate level of ability or intelligence. I've had autistic professors and have worked with kids with an intellectual disability that are also autistic who need more help learning life skills. You and your parents know best what the kid is about to understand. What I will say to this point is that people are generally not considered full-on adults until 25 cognitively and financially. Living at home at 19 is not unheard of. Parents should have set boundaries, you should have been safer with your items, but this is sooner a St. Pid mistake. You also have a legal right to your belongings and can call the police to get your things. Third, I am sorry you are experiencing homelessness. It sounds like yes, you are being irresponsible with drugs, etc., but you were trying to do so responsibly. As a 27-year-old ex-Mormon and young parent, when I was 22F, getting drunk at the bar seems magical. I am still getting familiar with weed. My limits are that I wait to have more than a glass of wine until my kid is asleep, and I generally do weed either socially or floor anxiety. I hope you hold boundaries with yourself for substance use. Back to the point, my sibling was kicked out because they are gay and they stayed with us for a month or so. My partner and I slept on my relatives' couches for 6 weeks recently. Financial instability is overwhelming. Your dealer was kind to take you in, and hopefully this can be a safe space. I don't know them. I hope you are able to remain intentional in how you use drugs recreationally, that you look into therapy for the very traumatic experience you just went into, and when you are ready, look into the financial resources you may be eligible for while you get up onto your feet. Make yourself aware of emotional abuse, financial abuse, and the many other forms of abuse that can take place. Domestic violence is not restricted to physically hitting someone. IDK if the shower event was a one-time event, or if similar things have happened before. If I were you, that this one day at a time. Focus on your next steps. Take a day or two to recover, but when you are ready, the sooner you can access resources, the better. If your purse was in your room, then definitely NTA. If you left it out on the counter or something, then absolutely YTA. It was an honest mistake, because you had no reason to believe he would pry, but ultimately it was your brother who did the wrong thing. I understand your parents were scared, but it's a massive overreaction.